Tyson Fury back in career, maybe we organization one more fight.
Hi everybody, I'm going to make this short and sweet. I'd like to announce my retirement from boxing. It's been a blast. I've loved every single minute of it, and I'm going to end with this. Dick Turpin wore a mask. God bless everybody. See you on the other side. Get up!
Come on, let's not sit on the fence here. How does the rematch go? Repeat or revenge?
I think you'd be stupid to not say repeat, because Oleksandr Usyk is the #1 heavyweight of our generation. But if there's any one heavyweight out there right now that can give Usyk trouble or possibly beat him, is Daniel Dubois, but I go with Usyk.
Just when we thought Tyson Fury was stepping away for good, the Gypsy King has called out Oleksandr Usyk for a third showdown. After yet another retirement U-turn, Fury is ready to take his revenge for the last time. On the other hand, Oleksandr Usyk said that after his second victory over Tyson Fury, he wants to take a break from boxing to rest and spend quality time with his family. Having gone through intense training camps and tough fights, Usyk feels it is important to recharge both physically and mentally before considering his next move.
Listen, my next step, I wanna rest, because my little daughter Maria, today my wife sent me a message video. My little daughter say, "Daddy, Daddy," 10.5 months. I look at my little daughter, 2 months. Maximum 2 months, maybe 1.5. Now I wanna back home, rest, off my phone and close in my house, sit like this and then look in the sky. Yeah, and how grow tree.
In comparing Tyson Fury and Daniel Dubois, Oleksandr Usyk stated he would choose Tyson as the stronger opponent. Usyk described that Fury is stronger and cleverer in the ring, and thus a stronger fighter in general. His observation reflects the admiration he has for Fury's boxing IQ, fight against a much improved Dubois in their next contest.
So who would you pick between Joshua and Fury, two of your former opponents?
I think it's Tyson Fury, because Tyson Fury killed bigger man, like a smart guy. Yeah, it's Tyson Fury.
With that in mind, Daniel Dubois isn't holding back as he gears up for his rematch with Oleksandr Usyk. With burning passion, Dubois has established that he's after Usyk's titles and more resolute than ever before. Dismissively waving the pre-fight tension as just a case of playful jousting, Dubois asserted there is no ill will between the two purely competitive spirits instead. But when the bell sounds, he assures that the world will see something historic. Both fighters are hungry for a win, and the scene is set for a thrilling confrontation.
How was it for you going face to face with him?
It's good seeing the guy that I'm going to be going up against and getting ready to take all the belts from. So I'm pumped and I'm ready to fight.
Obviously, we all saw the push at the news conference, Daniel. Tell me more about that. Was that planned? Was that just one of those things that happened? Talk to us about the push.
Yeah, more or less one of the things that happened. It's just fun and games at the moment. You know, his camp going against my camp. But on the fight night, you guys are going to see something amazing.
Why did you do it? Did you just think, you know, just do a little reminder of what you're all about?
A little bit of that, I suppose, but yeah, it's all fun and games right now. Take none of this too seriously.
Additionally, Dubois vowed to throw himself fully into training as he prepares for the rematch. Promising a complete transformation, he guaranteed fans that they would get to witness a new and better version of him, much stronger, sharper. This time around, he's prepared to unleash his complete potential and leave everyone with no room for doubt regarding what he is capable of whenever he gets back into the ring against Usyk.
What does the next few weeks look like for you in the build-up?
Well, it's back to the grind now, but back to the gym, back to the hard work and dedication leading up to the fight. But yeah, I can't wait to get in and do some damage, you know.
What version of Dubois is he facing now? How much have you come on as a fighter, do you think?
Massively, leaps and bounds. You can see from my last 3 fights that I've come on massively, from the Gerald Miller, Hergovich, and then Anthony Joshua. So I'm a totally different fighter now, different man, and you guys are going to witness something really, really special.
On a similar note, Oleksandr Usyk has expressed strong enthusiasm about the idea of facing Tyson Fury for a third time. He said he is well set to have a trilogy. Usyk appears in great spirits and full of motivation to face Fury in the ring once more, with a strong desire to put their rivalry to rest.
Has Tyson Fury announced his return to boxing? Well, Tyson has said that he's ready to face Oleksandr Usyk for a third time. Tyson took to social media to say, "I beat the 2 times and the world knows the truth. Anytime, any place. The UK next. 100,000 people." Just months after announcing his retirement, again, Tyson has made it clear that he's ready to return to boxing and settle this rivalry once and for all. Usyk exclusively told me that he would love for that to happen. So what do you think? Who should Tyson Fury face, Oleksandr Usyk or Anthony Joshua?
As we've seen, his attitude shows not only preparation, but also a willingness to keep testing himself against one of the best heavyweights in the world. For Usyk, a second bout against Fury isn't merely about rivalry, it's about legacy, grit, and cementing his place in the annals of boxing history.
If Tyson Fury is watching this and he's wanting to come out of retirement, what would you say to him? Do you think he should box on, Tyson Fury?
If Tyson Fury back in career, maybe we organization one more fight.
You want would you have a trilogy with us?
No problem.
No problem.
I ready.
Would you have that at Wembley Stadium as well?
Wembley, do you have more?
We have Manchester. You can maybe go Manchester, Red Old Trafford for Tyson Fury.
Yes.
Meanwhile, famous analyst Teddy Atlas shared his deep respect for Daniel Dubois, acknowledging the growth Dubois has shown as a fighter and a person. He observed that although Dubois lost 2 important fights to Joe Joyce and Oleksandr Usyk, those losses occurred under adverse conditions. During the Joyce bout, there were a lot of physical issues, and with the Usyk bout, a body shot caused controversy when a lot think the shot would have been considered legal rather than resulted in a stoppage.
I also have a lot of respect for Dubois, for the man he is and what he's become. That he fell apart in 2 fights. Yeah, different things happen, I get it, but physical things happen in the fight with Joyce and then in the fight with Usyk, where Usyk, some people think that it should have been a punch to the body, it shouldn't have been a breakage and a stoppage, and that it changed the fight. The bottom line was, at the end of the day, in both Joyce, it's about overcoming.
Nevertheless, Atlas commended Dubois for redeeming himself subsequently by fighting 3 difficult bouts that Atlas believes Dubois would have accepted even without compensation. For Dubois, it was not about money, it was about redemption on a personal level, about showing himself who he really was.
But I think more mentally, in both the Joyce fight and the Usyk fight. But he came back, he redeemed himself, and he did what you said. He fought those 3 tough fights. And those fights, I think he would have fought them for free. At least the first 2. Because it was about redeeming himself. It wasn't about getting paid. It was about finding out who he was. Finding out what kind of man he was. It was really about living the rest of his life with pride.
On the other hand, Teddy Atlas described the rematch between Oleksandr Usyk and Daniel Dubois. He praised both men for their incredible skills and fighting spirit, emphasizing that they are each amazing in their own right. Atlas acknowledged Dubois' growth into a stronger, more determined fighter, while also recognizing Usyk's unmatched ability to adapt and find ways to win. With both men bringing such high levels of talent and heart into the ring, Atlas believes the rematch promises to be a thrilling and competitive battle.
But Usyk, I would have loved to see him walk off into the sunset after the last Fury fight. He's getting older. He's been in a lot of tough fights. He had hundreds of amateur fights. This is an unforgiving business. It is. I know it firsthand. I'm not saying he's not going to win or he can't win. I'm not saying that. You got to love the way he conducts himself, the way he carries himself. Like what? Like a champion. And like I said, you have to have nothing but enormous respect for the other guy, Daniel Dubois, where he's come from, where he's put himself, and where he's going.
That being said, Don Charles, trainer of Daniel Dubois, insisted that Dubois needs to knock out Oleksandr Usyk if he wants to triumph in their future encounter, although he recognized that if the battle does go to the judges, they feel that Usyk will be sufficiently weathered so that Dubois can take the win. The ultimate objective is still to finish the battle in the decisive manner. Confident and determined, Charles promised that Dubois will be victorious on July 19th.
Does he have to knock Usyk out to win this fight?
And is he walking in against the same Usyk, given the fact that Usyk's been in 2 battles with Tyson Fury?
Yeah, you're not going to win a boxing match against Usyk.
It's got to knock him out.
I think let's all agree on that.
Yeah. So that's
the same thing when we went to Poland. We're not going to outbox Usyk and win on points. The same thing applies to this this fight, upcoming fight. Yeah, by any means necessary. But if it happens to go points, Usyk won't be in a good state to. We will win, but the game plan is to go there, seek and destroy. Always is. And we will be victorious on the 19th of July.
In the meantime, Anthony Joshua gave his honest opinion about the Usyk versus Dubois rematch, stating that realistically, Dubois does stand a chance, but it's an uphill task. Joshua noted that the problem with fighting Usyk is that he doesn't have knockout power. Rather, Usyk employs his superior skill and movement to box around opponents. Nevertheless, Joshua wished Dubois, trainer Don Charles, and Great Bridge Boxing good luck and hoped they might return the heavyweight championship to English soil.
On Daniel Dubois against Oleksandr Usyk, realistically, has he got any chance? We've got 30 seconds.
Of course he has. Look, it's a tough ask, of course. You know, the thing with Usyk is he doesn't depend on his power to knock you out. He depends on his skill. That's why it's a tough ask, because he's going to box rings around you if you let him. Dubois, good luck. Don Charles, good luck. Great British Boxing, good luck. We potentially might have a heavyweight championship back on our soil.
Additionally, Daniel Dubois firmly asserted that now it's his turn to be the champion. He feels that it's his time to ascend to the pinnacle, take his opportunity, and win the heavyweight titles. With a fresh determination and purpose, Dubois asserted that he's prepared to move into the limelight and capture the moment he's been striving for.
Fighter, you see them and you see what they've done, and then, you know, when you get the opportunity, I want to win. I want to beat him as well. He's been up there a while, and he's had his day. So now is my time. I'm really confident and ready to fight. You know, I could go over it and over it, but it was a body shot that landed, and now I have a chance to clear up the controversy. You know, just wipe the slate clean. You know, I've come back. You guys have seen I've come back a new man, a different man, a new fighter, and I'm just excited to show that I'm on the rise. Yeah, he's definitely has. My dad, Don, and the other people that's revolved around the camp that have brought new life to the camp have definitely helped and sharpened me up. So you're going to see a new me.
Former boxer Spencer Oliver was very confident in Daniel Dubois before the rematch, promising that Dubois has improved as a fighter and now knows Oleksandr Usyk much better. Oliver is convinced that with his improvement, experience, and new attitude, Dubois has everything it takes to defeat Usyk this time. He stressed that Dubois has genuine potential to upset and finally join the heavyweight elite.
The lineal champion, he can become the undisputed champion. I think he's got a much better opportunity this time around.
100%. It's a massive opportunity for Daniel, and you know, he's improved massively as a fighter, but more importantly, psychologically, mentally, and Don Charles has been instrumental in helping him improve in that and believing in himself.
You're in the Don Charles fan club, aren't you?
I'm not in the fan club, I just know him very well.
No, but what I mean is you believe in Don's abilities.
Every day before training and after training, Daniel used to stand there looking at the arch for like 10-15 minutes. It was part of his training program, part of his, you know, and he's improved so much as a fighter because that self-belief since winning that world title, since dismantling Anthony Joshua at Wembley, you know, back in September, and you look at that performance and you go, this kid is a formidable force now going into this rematch. He's the more improved fighter of the two.
Furthermore, Spencer Oliver reported that Daniel Dubois can land in actual trouble against Oleksandr Usyk during their rematch. He cited the fact that Dubois' power, if mixed with improvements and improved training, can become significant issues for Usyk when applied with appropriate pressure. Oliver made it a point to clarify that although Usyk is an accomplished boxer, Dubois has what it takes to make the contest a really dangerous one for him.
I think they were very unfortunate not to have picked Oleksandr Usyk up and made him continue, but
he would have.
Oh, he would have continued, without a doubt, but he milked it for what he was.
Yeah.
He's using his experience, stayed down. I think Daniel Dubois is inexperienced. He lost the momentum and the fight went away from him then. Usyk done what he does so well and just turned the screw and picked it up as the rounds went on. But that will give Daniel Dubois hope, knowing that he can hurt Oleksandr Usyk because he believes it wasn't a low blow, and he will build on that and he'll grow on that, and they'll be working on targeting that body and going the attacks to that body. Obviously, Usyk will be working on defending that as well.
In addition, Spencer Oliver Oliver leaned marginally towards Oleksandr Usyk while making his prediction, but indicated that Daniel Dubois stands a great chance of defeating him in the rematch. Although Oliver holds Usyk's phenomenal skill and experience in high regard, he feels that Dubois' progress, power, and better familiarity with Usyk provide him with a genuine opportunity to win big.
How does the rematch go? Repeat or revenge?
I think you'd be stupid to not say repeat, because Oleksandr Usyk is the #1 heavyweight of our generation. But if there's any one heavyweight out there right now that can give Usyk trouble or possibly beat him, it is Daniel Dubois. But I go with Usyk because you would be stupid not to. The guy's a genius at what he does in the ring, and he proved he can tough it out with Tyson Fury, those 2 victories over Fury, the 2 victories over Anthony Joshua. He can deal with the big men as well, so he always finds a way. Usyk is one of the best fighters of all time in the heavyweight division.
Moreover, Frank Warren stated he is convinced Tyson Fury will return stronger and win in a possible trilogy against Oleksandr Usyk. He was in no doubt that Fury, with his courage and fighting ability, would adjust accordingly to recapture victory and revalidate himself as the best at heavyweight. Warren was adamant in his backing, believing Fury's return would be an emulative one.
If he was to commit to a trilogy, he's had one unbelievable one with Deontay Wilder, which will be remembered for ages, and then he could go into another one with Oleksandr Usyk. What does that say, in your opinion, about Tyson Fury?
I think Tyson, going into this fight, for me, has been, look, a lot of journalists after the last fight, a lot more sports writers rather than boxing writers, and some of them are a bit were haters, but the majority of them said that Usyk is now the best heavyweight of his generation, that he deserves to be up there with the Alis and the Louis and the Marcianos and all these guys going back in time. Tyson beats him, then that becomes Tyson. And I think Tyson's there anyway. The fact he's a 2-time world champion, the fact that he's won his titles on the road in the other guy's countries or adopted country, he's there. He's a great fighter. Comes through this one, even better fighter.
As well as Frank Warren pointed out the historical importance of the fight coming up, indicating that it's the first time in history that a unification of the heavyweight titles of all 4 major belts at stake is taking place in the UK. Daniel Dubois has a golden chance to make his name etched in British sporting history. Talking about the rematch, Warren noted that many things have happened since Dubois and Usyk initially fought in August 2023. Dubois has matured mentally in the past couple of years.
Before a fight, of intimidating opponents, getting into their heads, and I really wanted that to happen with Daniel, that he toughens up mentally more, and it worked, and Daniel done a job at the end, stopped him in the 12th round. Next one was Hrgovic, who nobody wanted to fight. Nobody. It was mandatory for how many?
Frank Warren explained that Daniel Dubois has been up against larger and more powerful opponents in his recent fights, and this has served to make him grow and gain experience. He noted that due to this, Dubois can now defeat Oleksandr Usyk in their next rematch. Warren is certain that Dubois' improvement in terms of his body and mind places him in a much improved position to win a massive fight.
I think he's mentally matured over the last couple of years. He's been, in this period of 14 months that he fought Usyk, which for me was controversial with that alleged low blow. Since then, we put him in 3 fights, which I thought were very tough fights. First one against Babe Miller, and I did that because Babe Miller is very good before a fight of intimidating opponents, getting into their heads, and I really wanted that to happen with Daniel, that he toughens up mentally more, and it worked, and Daniel done a job at the end, stopped him in the 12th round. Next one was Hrgovic, who nobody wanted to fight. Nobody. It was mandatory for how many? Probably about 18 months, 2 years. Nobody fought him. The bogeyman, as they called him, of the heavyweight division. We made that fight. It was, again, a tough fight on paper for him. And certainly it was in the first 3 or 4 rounds, where he was getting caught quite a few times by Hrgovic with his right hand. But he gritted his teeth, knuckled down, and done a job, and should have stopped him in the 5th round. I thought the referee may have stopped it there, but certainly stopped him in the next round.
Frank Warren explained that Daniel Dubois and Oleksandr Usyk have already met in the ring, so he knows them well now. He said he knows that Dubois can hurt Usyk, and that although he has huge respect for Usyk, who has defeated every British fighter he's beaten, he knows Usyk has flaws that were almost exposed during their first fight. Warren reported that the punch that Dubois landed, that most would have counted as a body shot, was always the kind that he believed could bother Usyk.
Obviously, Oleksandr Usyk, quite a different stylistic
realistic proposition than Anthony
Well,
Joshua?
it is, but they know each other. They've been in the ring together. They shared a ring together. I know he can hurt him. I know that Usyk, who I've got great admiration for. He's beaten every British fighter that he's been in with. But I believe that he has weaknesses, and it was nearly exploited in that first fight. I mean, that's the punch I always felt would give him problems. So Daniel knows what he's got to do in this next fight, and it's going to be a great fight. And as I said, it's historical because of the belts and so forth. And if he comes through that, how bad is that? You know, 48 years I've been doing this now. I mean, for him to come through and do that, the heavyweight champion, and I've looked after a few British heavyweight world champions, but I think that would be something special. You know, the first guy to hold the 4 belts, that's historical.
However, Frank Warren revealed that Daniel Dubois is training super hard to establish that he has what it takes to defeat Oleksandr Usyk. Warren stressed that Dubois is wholly committed, steadfast, and throwing everything at him in his preparations, very confidently believing this time around that the Dubois will pull it off and become the new heavyweight champion. Warren fully had faith that Dubois is able to grasp this massive chance.
In the rematch,
got to work his jab. Got to be busy. He's got to push him back, keep him on the back foot. You know, he doesn't fight too well going backwards, Usyk. You put him on his back foot and it negates about 70% of what he is.
Dubois is focusing heavily on improving his conditioning, footwork, and mental toughness to make sure he's fully prepared for every challenge Usyk might bring. Dubois is spending countless hours in the gym, refining his technique and building the stamina needed to keep relentless pressure on Usyk throughout the fight.
That's it, more aggression. Last 5. That's it, be aggressive. 4, 3, 2, and 1.
As the fight is approaching, the anticipation for Daniel Dubois versus Oleksandr Usyk, Dubois, stronger, smarter, and more determined, is ready to rewrite his story and capture heavyweight glory. Will Daniel Dubois rise to the occasion and shock the world this July? Can Oleksandr Usyk once again prove why he's the king of the heavyweight division? Is Dubois' power and growth enough to overcome Usyk's experience and skill? The potential Tyson Fury versus Oleksandr Usyk trilogy is one of the most exciting and highly anticipated prospects in the heavyweight division. Can Tyson Fury bounce back and show that he's the king of the division, or will Usyk cement his legacy as the ultimate heavyweight?